know I try to be a good man. I always give it my best. But truth be told, someday I want to go to the wild, wild west.
And now, live from our smokehouse studio, it's time for Real Estate Jerky. All your real estate questions answered by our provocatively lean expert host, Ed Parcaut, MBA, veteran, and president of Lending for Living. And today's special expert guest, real estate advice you won't find anywhere else. Plenty to chew on, starting now.
Hey, good afternoon. It's great to be here with my guest, David Leamon. He's the Director of Public Works of Stanislaus County. Hello, David.
Hello, Ed. How are we doing today?
Doing good, man. I'm your host, Ed Parcaut. David, people always ask me, why do I bring in other people on the show that have nothing directly to do with real estate? And it's about the community that you live in, right? And who's involved in that community that makes it good for you. We're all about helping people build personal wealth through home ownership, getting them on that path. That's why we're here each and every week. So thanks for coming in today.
You're welcome. And so the county has been working on many things, and one of the services that citizens use the most is roads. Everybody uses roads in this county. Whether you're in a nursing home, your stuff gets to you via road. If you're a commuter, use our county roads. Everybody uses county roads, and so it's something that we're proud of taking care of, roads and bridges in Stanislaus County.
Now, last week we had on Doug Ridenauer, and he was talking about Measure L and the gas tax, and that's kind of stuff I want to get into today, where that went, kind of stuff. But before we get there, I think we should, Dave Lopez passed away this week, and I think we should do a moment of silence for him. What do you think?
Yeah, I think that's a great idea.
Right.
Dave was a great guy.
Yes, he was. So we'll have our silence. All right, we're back. So on the positive note, I'm sure glad that my Navy beat Army last weekend.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I'm a Navy fan myself, so good job.
Thank you. And they didn't just beat them, they slapped them around a little bit. And my son was telling me that, Army's going to beat Navy because, of course, he's in the Army. But that didn't happen. So,
no, that's good.
Yeah, I told my wife, I hope Army wins so that he has something to brag about. But I'm so glad they didn't.
Yeah, Navy had quite a streak a few years ago. I think they won 8 or 10 in a row.
They still have more wins than Army, and Army just went through a 3-year winning streak, and so. But they've had a lot of issues on their team with quarterbacks. The same issues we had over the last 3 years. The reason we had issues, so they had a lot of injuries. So, as good as you are, if you have injuries, it doesn't matter. You're going to lose.
That's right.
Yeah. So, David. What do you want to touch on first? You want to get into, Measure L? You want to talk about bridges?
Let's talk about bridges.
I know you're real big on all this. I mean, yeah. I can see the big old smile on your face. Our listeners can't see that, but I can.
Yeah.
So.
No, I think talking about bridges would be interesting. One of the things that we talk about when we talk about with our other county engineers is Stanislaus County claims to have the largest collection of antique bridges in the state. And nobody necessarily disagrees with us. All counties have old bridges, but
yeah, but that's not a good thing.
No, not really. No, that's not. So it's not something. It's not bragging rights. Most of our bridges were built in the 1920s,
really,
and they're now 90 plus years old. They're going on 100, and they were designed with an antique concrete mix design, and they're starting to fall apart. And so the state and feds do contribute towards bridges. They'll pay 88% of a bridge. If it's eligible, and most of our bridges are eligible for that money, but the problem is there's just not enough bridge money statewide. And so we do have about 115 bridges that are 80 years or older. And so at some point we're going to have to start thinking about replacing these. And one of the things we're trying to do, segue a little bit into Measure L, is we're going to try doing a locally funded bridge project with Measure L every year. And so that'll take care of somewhere around 20 of them. We'll give ourselves a little slack.
I'm sorry, how many did you say there was?
There's 224 bridges countywide.
Wow. Really?
Yes, 224.
Jeez.
Yeah, there's a lot.
I would never have thought that.
Yeah.
I would have thought maybe 20.
No, there's 224. We have a lot of them, and a lot of them are canal bridges. And I did bring a map, and they'll upload them to Facebook and their webpage. But there's a lot of bridges, and they're getting pretty old, and we got to figure out a way to start replacing more of them more frequently. We do have 20 active bridge projects. Hickman Road Bridge over the Tuolumne is out to bid right now, and we're going to be under construction this year. Crow's Landing Road Bridge over the San Joaquin River will be out to bid next year or later this year for next year's construction. They're both about $20 million projects, and 88% of the money comes from the feds and states. So that's pretty nice. And so we're using Measure L and our new SB1 tax to do the local match on those bridges, which is certainly handy. And we're also working on 7th Street Bridge, and I'm pretty sure we're going to talk about that a little bit later.
Yes, we will. I think we got so excited about bridges, or you did, I should say. I'm glad you enjoy your work. A lot of people don't know anything about Public Works Department that you work in. You want to explain what your department does?
Yeah, for sure. Public Works in the county, we're mostly roads and bridges. We do sewer projects in unincorporated islands. Our engineers will either manage or design those projects for sewer, but the city of Modesto winds up taking over the sewer systems. The county does not manage any water or sewer systems, but we do have 1,507 miles, centerline miles of roads and 224 bridges. And so that keeps us pretty busy. We have, like I said, we have 20 active bridge projects and probably at least 30 different road projects going on at any one time.
Wow. Now, they were talking about last week about certain pockets of that's not part of the city, that's county, and how to bring those in. Do you ever see that happening?
Yeah, so Shackelford neighborhood was the last neighborhood that got annexed from the county to the city, and that happened, I think, about 3 or 4 years ago. Was annexed. The county spent quite a bit of money. I don't recall how much. It was over $10 million on doing curb, gutter. We put in sewer and storm drainage, and made sure there were streetlights out there. And it's a fairly good-sized neighborhood. It's east of Crow's Landing, south of the 99. And we've done sewer projects in the last 12 years. We've done them in Park Lawn, which is south of Hatch, right next to our corporation yard on Morgan Road. We've done a large sewer project in the airport neighborhood. And we've also got 3 sewer projects going in West Modesto right now that we're asking the State Water Board for help for. And so we use local community development block grant funds from the feds to match the State Water Board, and we provide sewer services to county citizens.
Yeah, because a lot of people don't realize, that certain county areas, they're not connected to the sewer system. That's close to the city, but they're not connected.
Yeah, that's right. Back in the day, it was back in the 40s and 50s, it was okay to have these subdivisions where you didn't have a sewer system; they were septic. And so now, because of water quality issues and other things, the State Water Board's interested in helping us provide sewer for some of these unincorporated pockets.
Now, do the homeowners have to help out at all, or is it just a grant thing? I'm just curious,
It's so on Airport and Park Lawn, there is grant money to help them hook up. The State Water Board has prepaid the city of Modesto sewer connection fees for these citizens and homeowners. And on the next projects, we're talking about actually funding the sewer connections, because the State Water Board, if they're going to give us the money, they want as close to 100% connections as possible. And so we're really shooting for 90% plus. And so to do that in these economically challenged neighborhoods, we're talking about finding a way to be able to hire a plumber to actually do the connection from the street to the house, and then demolish the septic tank and
fill it in.
Yeah, fill it in, and get these people hooked up. Yeah. So that, because it's hard to understand sometimes the extra $50 or $60 a month that it costs for sewer is significant in some households. And so it's one of those things that if we can reduce a burden for the homeowner or renter there in that neighborhood, it's a good thing.
Yes, it is. I mean, there's nothing worse than, I know some of the older homes in Modesto, they used to be septic, and then people don't realize when they transfer, they're walking, all of a sudden they fall through that hole, or they find this septic tank in the backyard, and there's nothing worse than that, to find an old septic tank still in the backyard. Yeah.
I'm a big fan of publicly owned utilities. If you can, I would I guess my free advice would be try to find a house that's connected to city sewer so you don't have to deal with the maintenance of a septic system.
Well, yeah. Well, most city places are. I'm just talking they weren't at one time.
That's
All
correct.
right, let's go to break. We'll be right back after this break, and with my guest, David Leamon. He's the Director of Public Works of Stanislaus County. And if you have any questions or comment, please dial pound 250, say the key phrase Real Estate Jerky, and we'll get in touch with you. Have a great day. All right. We got a 12-minute segment.
Okay.
So we can go back to your bridges. I just noticed I hadn't asked you anything about it. You told how many bridges and the oldest.
Yes.
Did you want to talk about how many engineers and that kind of stuff? Road crew?
Yeah, we can.
People? Are you guys hiring?
Yeah, we can talk about that. That's of interest, I think. So.
Well, we can come back and say, was there anything else you want to add about your department that we didn't go over?
That sounds good.
Okay.
And I'll briefly describe.
And then we can get into the other stuff.
You want to go to 7th Street Bridge, or you want to go to the projects we just finished? Or?
David, you do a presentation all the time, right? So go the way of your presentation.
All right, sounds good.
All right, so when we come back, we'll talk about your department, a little bit more about people, and if you need that stuff. Is there anything, Marlene?
No, I'm good.
Okay. And then you take over and just start talking about your presentation, how you do it. Okay?
All right.
Because you jumped right away from our beginning right into your stuff. And I can see that you're used to doing that. And that's perfect.
All right, good.
Take your time. We still have 12, 12, and 9.
Okay. All right. 33 minutes. Got it. I'm ready.
I was talking the other side over there.
I'm ready.
Push the button.
Real Estate Jerky is back on Power Talk 1360. Chew on that.
That's right. We're back, and I'm here with my guest, David Leamon. He is the Director for Public Works of Stan County. And I'm Ed Parcaut, your host. I am the mortgage advisor with Lending for Living. And we were talking about your department before we went to break. Was there anything else you wanted to add on that before we go into your next?
Yeah, what's interesting, Ed, is I've done a little digging through county records, and this is the smallest road crew we've had since the early 90s. And so we are hiring 7 new road workers this year. And we're going to put the shoulder crew back together. We used to have a shoulder crew. And
are those the guys that just stand there with the shovels and they don't do anything?
No. These guys are the guys that if you're driving a county road, I'm sure you've seen it, where the asphalt starts crumbling off the edge. And there's what's called drop-off. So there might be 3 or 4 inches between the edge of the asphalt and the dirt next to it. And so the shoulder crew cuts swales for drainage, because keeping water off roads is important for the health and longevity of the pavement, and to prevent, as much as possible, water standing on the road so people have a safe road to travel on, and to pull dirt back onto the shoulder or the road so that you don't have drop-offs. Because what happens is people... there's lots of distracted driving now, right? Everybody's on their phones, which you're not supposed to. But at any rate, people go off the roads and then they overcorrect. They hit that big drop off, and we wind up having collisions. This is the second most common collision type in the county right now. The first is people not obeying stop signs. It's running through.
People run through stop signs?
They do all the time.
That's too bad.
So at any rate, that we're hiring 7 new guys. We'll have about 63 people out in roads, and the shoulder crew really is important for our department because of safety. And so that's one of the key elements of Public Works, is trying to get roads as safe as possible.
So what? So if somebody lives on a county road, right, and they're having issues, how do they get in touch with somebody to find out?
Well, my favorite way is the government outreach app. It's a gray icon, it has a little GO on it, and it allows you to geolocate your concern. It allows you to take a picture of the problem, whether it be a pothole or a drop-off or a sign down, and you hit submit on your smartphone, and we get it within minutes. The front-end staff will send it off to the roads guys, and usually within a day or 2 or 3, we try to fix the problem. If it's a pothole, once the county is on notice for an issue out in the road, we're now responsible for that pothole. And so we try to fill them as fast as possible. And we want to know if there's potholes. And the whole idea is to try to get them filled as fast as possible, be pothole free.
Right. How are we doing in Del Porto Canyon?
You know what? I don't think there's been any problems this year. No, one of the interesting things, there was a public meeting last week on the new dam up there, and we're talking about rerouting Del Puerto Canyon Road.
Oh, really?
Yeah, which is of interest if you happen to live in Diablo Grande. We're talking about, and this is important from a public safety standpoint too. Right now, Diablo Grande is at the end of a long cul-de-sac. There is no second exit out of Diablo Grande, and so the district that's building the dam, CCID in Del Puerto, would be required to reroute Del Puerto Canyon Road. And what we're talking about is doing it up further by Diablo Grande and having a second exit out of Diablo Grande. So if there was a fire at the mouth of the canyon and it's blowing in towards Diablo Grande, people could head west towards Santa Clara County and not be trapped there.
Right, and that's good for their insurance.
Absolutely.
Yeah, because I mean, if you don't have two ways in, it's really hard to get insurance.
It is,
especially in the fire zones.
Yes, and it is. It is. Much of Stanislaus County is not fire prone, except on the edges and where it's hilly. And Del Puerto is a connection over to Santa Clara County, and it goes over the Coast Range, and there's trees and brush and all sorts of stuff up there.
Yeah, that's where a lot of us ride our bikes up that way, for training. And so would they close that road off? Is what you're saying, if they're going to reroute it? Or,
it would.
Or they just leave it as an extra road?
It would be a cul-de-sac to the new reservoir there, off of Diablo Grande Parkway. And then you would go up Diablo Grande Parkway, almost to the gatehouse, and then there's a dirt road that goes up, and then up and over to the Del Puerto Canyon. So it would reroute Diablo Grande or Del Puerto Canyon for about 2 miles. And then you'd be on, Diablo Grande Parkway instead.
And that would be probably, 2025, 2030?
Yeah, I think it's at least
2040.
It's a ways out. They still have an EIR to do. I know they're making good progress on that, but the EIR is open to comment on right now. So if you have questions.
I'm sorry, so those of us who don't know acronyms?
Oh, yes, sorry. Environmental Impact Report. And so you can comment on it. I'm pretty sure if you Googled reservoir and Del Puerto Canyon, it would pop up, and you'd be able to submit comments via the internet.
All right. So we talked about your apartment and what's going on, and then you want to get into your others?
Yeah.
You want to talk about measure? What do you want to go?
For sure. Let's talk about bridges. Since we were already talking about bridges, we have completed 2 bridges recently, and I provided some really neat pictures of what they looked like and now what the new bridges look like. And one of them was Tegner Road Bridge, and it's down south of Turlock a little bit, and it was built in 1919. It was 20 feet wide, and the new bridge is 32 feet wide and much safer, and your viewers will be able to see it.
Yeah, we'll have it on our Facebook page and possibly Twitter.
So it looks really good. And so this is a bridge that was 100 years old that we replaced with a modern bridge, and it should last somewhere between 100 and 150 years. And it's much wider and has a guardrail around the canal so you don't fall into the canal, and should be pretty nice and serve that community well. The other bridge we just completed is Shields Road Bridge over the CCID Canal, and that one was built in 1928, so it was a 90-year-old bridge that we just replaced.
You brought up about the concrete mix from back then is different than it is now. For us who are not engineers, what does that mean? I mean, what they use back then that it's different now?
So they would use what's called a 3-2-1 mix design back in the
olden days. Weren't they using that even in the 70s?
Probably.
I could swear my dad was doing concrete in the yard, and it was a 3-2-1 mix.
Yeah, 3 scoops of rock, 2 scoops of sand, 1 scoop of cement, and water to whatever consistency you like. And so since the early 50s, we've been having engineered designs, mixed designs, and they have to meet specific strength and durability requirements. And so one of the bridges we took cores out of in North County, Milton Road Bridge, had a strength of around 1,200 PSI, where a modern bridge will pounds per square inch, so 1,200 pounds per square inch is the crushing strength on it. New mix designs run between 4,000 and 5,000 pounds per square inch strength, and so
to cover the increased traffic and the bigger cars and not having a horse and buggy.
Yes, exactly. So they should last a lot longer and be more durable for a greater period of time.
Well, I'm sure with the new cars changes down the road, they're going to get, with batteries and everything else, it might get a little maybe lighter. Who knows? Mm-hmm. Who knows?
And then the big bridge project we've got going on under construction right now, and it should be fully open to traffic, is Santa Fe Bridge over the Tuolumne River, and that's between Empire and the city of Houston. And we're pretty excited about that. It'll be a 3-lane bridge. We'll have a turn lane for Lakewood Memorial Park there, and it'll be much wider. The old bridge was narrow, and this one should last us another 100, 150 years, and that was a seismic safety project. So we got a little extra money from the state from a Proposition 1B was passed many years ago, and so it helped out with a local match on that bridge. And
So far in these bridges, what have funded it? Was it all federal, or was it Measure L? What was it?
So federal funding along with Measure L.
Okay.
Yeah. So.
And again, if you guys are just starting to listen, you can actually go to our Facebook page and take a look at these bridges he's talking about.
One of the things, it's also a bridge, and it's the only bridge that I know of in Stanislaus County that has a nickname, and it's Lion Bridge, the 7th Street Bridge. And not only am I the Public Works Director, I'm also the project manager on this one. I've had this project for about, 10 years now. And so one of the things, the most common question I get on 7th Street Bridge is not when we're going to construct it, nothing else. Dave, what are you doing with the lions? 2 of the lions go into the park next to the new bridge, and we're going to save a big piece of the old bridge, and we're going to move it to the park. And 2 of the lions will look just as they do today, still sitting on the old bridge. 2 of the bridge lions we're going to box up, and we're trying to figure out an appropriate place to put them, but we don't have a location identified for the other 2 lions. So if your listeners have an idea of where they would like to see the lions, I wouldn't mind seeing them maybe out in front of 10th Street Place or the old county courthouse. But we're totally open to ideas for appropriate locations for the other bridges. And so one of the things, one of the presentations I brought in that you'll be able to see is, I called it a magic bridge. We had 100 trucks cross a weight-restricted bridge for 4 tons. They destroyed one corner of the bridge, so we had a 3-legged stool for about a week out there.
Yeah, I see that there was a crack right in the middle.
Yes.
And then wow, that's amazing that it was crushed.
We put out timbers. I did a quick little calc. It could carry about 330,000 pounds. There's also a picture of that. So we had temporary wooden supports supporting a 103-year-old bridge on one end. We called this one the worst bridge in California.
Now, is it currently being worked on or done? Or I wasn't paying attention, I guess.
That's all right. We're in the final design and right-of-way phase of the project, and that's going to take us the next 2 years. We hope to be ready for construction about 2 years from now.
So do you have on the bridge no large semis so they don't go across and damage it now?
Yes. Okay. It's well signed. It's been signed since 1937. And one of the things I tell people is this bridge was designed for traffic of 1916. That's when it was built, and it was horse and buggies and wagons. So
wow,
it not built for modern semis.
All right. So, Dave, I got to go to a break now, and we'll pick it up when we come back. As many of you know, I'm a veteran, and I believe in supporting other veteran business owners. So if you know a veteran business owner who would like to benefit of talking about our audience, about buyers and sellers and owners, have them get in touch with us at pound 250, say the key phrase Real Estate Jerky, or you can call me direct at 209-404-1915. I want to give a shout out today to a veteran roofing contractor, Larry Dehart at Dehart Roofing. You can contact them at dehartroofinginc.com or 209-538-6423, 538-6423. And so, and they're actually doing our roof tomorrow. So we'll talk to you when we get back. All right, it went over 30 seconds. So when I get to 30 seconds, I'm going to do this.
Okay, yeah. Cut me off.
I'll do this so you know you have 30 seconds, and then when I get there, I'll do this.
All right, sounds good.
I'm used to more people not talking as much as you do.
All right. I'm stream of consciousness, boy. I know this stuff fairly well.
Yes, you do.
I live 7th Street Bridge.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Aren't they? Did you see these pictures? Look at this thing. If this is the most ridiculous thing you've seen in your life. You wonder if we don't live in Bulgaria. Bulgaria has better bridges than this. So these supports have been there since 1977. temporary supports. 16,000 cars a day. The trucks crushed this corner of the bridge.
Well, the best part
That's air. Magic. That's why it says magic up here. The magic air holding that corner of the bridge up. And how about we segue to North County Corridor, because I think your listeners, some of them might actually live
in North County.
Corridor. And so what we'll talk about is a little bit about the right-of-way process for 7th Street Bridge.
Hey.
And then...
Don't tell me.
All right.
Tell me on there.
All right.
Did we finish the Hickman Road and all those, or you just stopped? Not really. Okay.
I don't know.
I was looking through here and you're like, oh no, it's this one. Sorry.
Yeah.
All right.
No, I flipped.
Okay, I'm good. Just want to make sure I was on the same page.
I talked about Hickman and Crows, so we're good, and they can see pictures of it. So.
All right. So this is the third segment, and it's another 12 minutes.
All right.
And then when we get done, we'll do the last one.
I think we'll finish with the sidewalk projects, maybe.
Okay, that works.
All right. Because I probably have less to say about the sidewalks.
Ready?
Leaving the bull behind. It's Real Estate Jerky.
We're back, and I'm here with my guest, David Leamon, Director of Public Works for Stan County, and me, your host, Ed Parcaut, Mortgage Advisor at Lending for a Living. I know we've been talking about bridges, David, and we've been talking about other stuff. And before break, we were talking about the Lions Bridge, correct?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we were.
Then you want to finish up on that, and we'll go to some.
Yeah, I think so. So what we're working on right now on 7th Street Bridge is final design and right-of-way. And I think what might be of interest for some of your listeners is the right-of-way process sometimes is scary for people, and it doesn't have to be. When the government needs to purchase right-of-way for a project, there's processes we have to follow. We follow state and federal law. We appraise your property, and then we'll pay you up to $5,000 to get your own appraisal, and then we'll negotiate, based on those two appraisals. And so, generally speaking, I know, like with the Burnside Auto Body had to move for the new SR 132 project, and you get relocation assistance. You get help finding a new location. It doesn't have to be scary, and I just thought I'd share that with your listeners. And
I'm sure a lot of people get angry at you guys for taking their property.
Sometimes. Some people, and I get it, there's an emotional attachment to, look, my granddad started farming this back before the World War II, and it's been in our family forever. And it's like, well, we need 20 feet, and how can we do that in a way that isn't overly impactful, or maybe work with you on it. So,
it's not like it's a coliseum that they're putting in somewhere.
No, generally speaking, other than, and I think we're going to talk about it today, is
whatever you want to talk about, David.
North County Corridor at some point is we will be doing full takes there, where we're buying your whole property. And I'll share the map with you so you have that too. But at any rate, on 7th Street Bridge, we are saving the Lions. We're going to save a big chunk of the bridge and move it over to the Tuolumne River Regional Park. And the new bridge should be under construction, we hope, in 2022. Should take about a year and a half. It'll be a full closure. Detour will be on to 99, northbound Crow's Landing to 99.
Like I said, a lot of people get upset with you guys.
Yeah, sometimes. But at the end of the day,
It'll be better in the future.
Yes, it will be better in the future.
So the bridge doesn't collapse while you're going over it.
We do not want that. That would be bad.
All right. So there's a plaza down there in the park, is what you're saying,
yes,
basically, and they can see all this on the Facebook page.
Yeah, for sure.
And that's Real Estate Jerky Facebook page.
That's awesome. Well, let's talk a little about North County Corridor. We're getting really close.
What show is this? Is it your show or my show?
Hey, let's talk about North County Corridor. Ed, what do you think about that?
Sounds like a good idea. I'm glad you came up with it.
Thanks for having us.
Anytime.
So we, Stanislaus County was the recipient of a federal build grant for $20 million, and we got that about a year and exactly a year ago we found out about it. And we're going to do a initial phase, and we're going to be building a new 4-lane facility between Oakdale Road and Claus, and we're going to have 3 bridges over the train tracks. And we're going to have an urban interchange at Roselle and the new alignment of North County Corridor. And we're pretty excited about that project. We just awarded a contract for design and right-of-way on that project about 2-3 weeks ago. And we're pretty excited about North County Corridor. And so
how many? So it's going to extend Patterson. I mean, how's
it's
from Tully off the 219 out going to get the same size lanes as that, basically?
Yes. So it's right now what we've been that general neighborhood has been calling it is Kiernan, Clarabelle. Then it rolls into North County Corridor, and so early on the stuff west of McHenry, that neighborhood had said, well, let's make Kiernan work. And so there were quite a few people gathered together and wanted to make 219 work as the western connector of North County Corridor. North County Corridor goes from McHenry out past Oakdale all the way out to Lancaster, and it's about 18 miles. The highway is already built. The county and Stancog, the Stanislaus County Council of Governments, is our local planning agency for transportation. And between them, Caltrans, the county, we've built a new interchange at Kiernan and 99. We've built Kiernan with Caltrans on 219. That's about 6 miles. County built Clarabelle Road widening about 4 or 5 years ago. We built it from McHenry to Oakdale, and now we're extending it another 2 miles to the east, and we're getting out to Claus Road and up and over the railroad tracks, which is pretty exciting.
Okay. And this is going to be done when?
We should be under construction in 2023. So it'll take 4 years from now to get through final design and right-of-way on the 2 mile segment.
It's just amazing how long it takes.
We've been in the environmental phase for about a decade on this project, about 10 years. Seems like 10 years at any rate. And then 7th Street Bridge, we were in environmental for about 7.
And they wonder why, when you guys finish a project, that it's still not big enough. Because it took too long to build.
It's
you know what I mean? It's like they widen roads. It's taken them 10 years to get there, and then now we're going, okay, they added one more lane, but we're still congested.
Yeah.
We needed 2 more lanes.
Yeah. I hear you.
I'm not knocking it. I'm just saying it takes so long to do this. And I mean, it's the same thing in the building industry when they're doing homes. It takes forever to get from, for permits all the way through to where you can start digging the dirt. It takes forever.
It does.
It should be so much an easier process.
I'll tell my friends on Facebook. You get people on either side of the political spectrum, and right now California is very concerned about environmental regulations. What I tell some of my friends who are concerned about environmental regulations is try to permit a bridge over a river. It takes years and years and years. We've been working on Crow's Landing Road Bridge for 18 years, since 2001. And it's one of those things where it's frustrating because it's a replacement project. This isn't a new bridge. I mean, it is a new bridge, but it's
replacing what's there.
Yes. And so it is kind of frustrating on how long it takes some of these things to get done and how much it costs to get to where we can actually hire a contractor and start building something. So
basically what you're saying is in your lifetime, you'll be able to see a couple bridges done.
Yes. So
and then the next director of Public Works will finish all the ones you started.
Yes. No, that is so true. Matt Machado 12 years ago, when he first came to the county, or 13 now, we got all these big bridge projects started. Crow's Landing, Hickman, Santa Fe, and only one of them really got under construction while he was still there. And so it does take a long time. Some of these phases of North County Corridor, I might not be alive to see. It might take that long, 30 plus years. And I don't know how many years I have left, but it's one of those things where some of the projects that we work on, which is kind of fun, they're generational. You pass it to the next generation of leadership in public works.
But it shouldn't be that way.
Well,
you should be able to get this stuff done in a reasonable time so we can accommodate the amount of people who are here now, so that, it just seems like I understand the environmental stuff and all that from our past, sins
of the past. Yeah.
But, it's got to be a way to make it faster. If you're just replacing a bridge, it should be a, what are you doing? Boom, stamp, let's go, you know, kind of thing. Yeah. Now, if you're building a new bridge, that might be a little different.
Yeah.
How are you affecting the ground, everything that's not, you know, that has to be moved and everything. But if it's already there, why does it take so long?
I'm not sure. That's a question for somebody else. I wish it was faster, but engineers we naturally have a predilection. We like building stuff. That's why we became engineers. So.
So don't work for the county, then, is what you're saying?
No,
I'm just kidding. Let's move on.
I will put a pitch in for public service. One of the things I do like doing is working in the community that I grew up in and improving things, you know, and making a difference. And so I think, you know, I hear that from the younger generations. They want to be impactful. They want to help and make a difference. And I think that's one of those things where if you are math inclined and you like designing things or sketching things, you know, engineering is a great field, and doing it in public works is a great thing because you are building community where you live,
which is important, and that's why we have the show.
Yes,
community.
Yes, for sure. You know, and it's one of those things where we know there's a housing crisis right now in California too. Let's maybe pull back into real estate jerky a little. You know, there's tons of infrastructure needs, and it's nice to be able to try, like on a project like North County Corridor, where we're doing planning for the future and trying to get something there so that, you know, Oakdale, Modesto, Riverbank can grow, and then people can use this facility and get to 99. You know, so it's
yeah, because we definitely need. You probably weren't here listening to the show. We had Mark Niskanen on, and he was talking about the projects that were going on, and the houses being built. There's hardly. I mean, there's not thousands of homes. There's hundreds of homes being built. You know, and it's just not enough for what we are so far behind on. And a lot of people don't realize that still. They don't understand that. I deal with a lot of agents from Tuolumne County, and they've come down here, and they're working all over now, and they didn't realize how hard it is to get somebody in contract in our area. There's multiple offers, counter offers, all that, where they don't have that up there, right? Tuolumne County is on sale right now.
Yeah,
because of the fire issues. And even though it's been looked at and it's okay and you can go forward, everybody buying now is fine. But the older people have been there for years or had the house forever as a second home are like, I don't want to deal with it anymore. So they flooded the market with 60 homes a few months back. Kind of gotten through that, but it's just one of those things where if you want to buy a second home or whatever, Tuolumne County is the time to do it now.
Nice.
And December is the best time to buy a home. I put a thing out last year, the 10 best days to buy a home. 7 of them were in December.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so, all right. So we're going to go out to a break now. Okay, David?
Sounds good.
All right. We're going to a break, and when we get back, we'll talk more with David Leamon from Public Works. I'm Ed Parcaut, and if you want to get in touch with us, you can do pound 250 from your phone, say the key phrase Real Estate Jerky, and we'll talk to you later. All right, final segment.
One more, right?
Yeah, 9 minutes.
Oh, that's awesome.
All right, so we done with the project update?
Yeah.
All right, so our last segment's 9 minutes. As you can see with 12, it goes fast when you're talking.
Yeah, 9 and 1.
9 and 1. All right.
The one is for me to go through this little paragraph here. So
Okay.
we finish, then you leave, and I do my paragraph because it's just the easiest way.
All right. Awesome. Well, I'll probably just sit here because I got a bunch of shit and I don't want to make noise while I'm gathering all my crap.
No.
Almost I could read your lips.
What? No, I didn't know if you needed something. You were looking at it.
Stuff.
No.
Okay. That's all right.
That was like,
So we're good. He's got more stuff.
no, that was beautiful. I was going like this. Yay, talking about the infrastructure.
Yes.
I love this guy.
Do you want these at all from today? Just to
no.
look at
No,
before you
sure,
move the
when I
files
start
over. And now I'll get the rest of these to you too when I'm done. Well, the bridge, you got to show on Lions Bridge when you put it on the Facebook how damaged it was and how long
I
it was
didn't
there.
do that until after he's on the show because.
No. I'm saying look
Yeah.
in there and you'll see the pictures.
Oh, I saw it. I did the research to pull up the ones that I did post on.
No, I didn't
And I
do it.
saw all that. All that.
But I didn't realize how long ago that they did the repair to the bridge, temporary repair.
Oh, that was
1970?
77.
Yeah.
On the steel supports on the city side. I know. Temporary.
Yeah. Well, when you came and talked to Rotary, I was listening. And,
Good job.
Yeah, and then whenever I did the research
Yeah.
to do the posts and pull pictures, I saw all those with the the cracks in the 2x4s and
Yeah.
the posts.
I know.
What's
crazy?
We're
That's.
going to talk about that.
I think so. At the end, I think I'm going to squeeze it in as part of Measure L. I think we probably should talk about goals, funding, and then go roll into sidewalk in a success.
All right, so figure you have 8-ish minutes to do that. So don't rush it, but let's get there.
All right, sounds good.
All right, ready.
Leaving the bull behind, it's Real Estate Jerky.
That's right. We're back for our final segment of the show. I'm Ed Parcaut, mortgage advisor at Lending for Living, with my guest, David Leamon, director of public works from Stan County. Dave, can you believe how fast this hour somewhat goes?
I know. It's been really fast. It's been a lot of fun, Ed.
Yeah. Well, I want to thank you for being here. So you want to talk about, you had an idea what to come back with after we left?
Yeah, for sure. Wanted to thank the listening public and the voters of Stanislaus County for approving Measure L in 2017 with a historic margin. It was a great victory for roads in the county. And so one of the things I thought I'd talk about briefly is one of the promises of Measure L, half the money goes to local streets and roads. And the county's goal is to resurface, pave, chip seal, maintain 150 miles a year. And so the way that we're getting there is our county forces do about 100 miles of county chip seal a year. We do approximately 25 to 30 miles of what we call urban pavement preservation. I brought in a map for that. You can see if you're a county community when approximately what year we'll be by to do your neighborhood, and we're going to be doing about 25 miles of contract chip and 3 to 5 miles of force account, and that's going to get us to our 150 miles a year, our goal. So, and then we're going to spend.
So those things you just said basically are, would you say chip seal?
Chip seal.
So
is
basically, you just cover the cracks in there, with a little compound, and we move on.
Yeah. Well, and so I drove Lake Road and Davis Road, and they were both in pretty bad shape. Our crews do heavy maintenance, so we do blade patching, where we put down asphalt and spread it with a motor grader, and then we compact it. And Davis Road's never looked better than it does today. It's a 5.5 mile long cul-de-sac. It was in terrible shape. We drove it this weekend at about 55 miles an hour. It's a 2-lane country road, and I don't think it's ever been in as good a shape as it is right now. Lake Road is looking pretty good. We do heavy prep work, and then we chip seal it, and we'll be back in 7
Can you
years.
take over the city? Because my street needs to be done.
Yeah, no. No, it's Vicky Dion, the city engineer, and Bill Sandu, the public works director. They do the same thing as the county. They do the best they can with the funding they have, and I do appreciate those two for sure. One of the successes of Measure L is we do have money funding now for the first time dedicated for sidewalks, and when the county gets County Public Works, we get about $500,000 a year for what's Measure L sidewalk money, and we were able to acquire or get 2 grants from the state, one for Bret Hart neighborhood and one for Airport neighborhood, and it was because of Measure L. We have a legitimate local match. We're going to pay 25% of the project cost, and we were able to get 2 what used to be called Safe Routes to Schools projects. This active transportation projects is what the state's calling it now, bike and ped projects. And these are the first ones we've gotten there in the last 12 years I know of.
And they're done now? Or
No, they're under design right now, and they should be in construction in a couple years. But we're pretty excited about that because it's we hear a lot from county citizens that they would like sidewalks in their neighborhood, and we understand that. It's just, at $500,000 a year, it would take us a really long time to get every county sidewalk done.
So how much does it cost for a sidewalk? Is it because of the planning and design and all the other environmental stuff you have to do? Is that why it's so expensive? Or is it because the concrete's so expensive?
Really, for the sidewalk projects, the sidewalks maybe half of the price of the project. There's grading that needs to be done. It's storm drainage is the really expensive part.
Because they don't have drains. Right?
No, they don't have drains out there. And so that's really the expensive part of these projects. And so on the Bret Hart and neighborhood or airport neighborhoods, because the roads are road right-of-ways are older, they're a little wider than normal ones, and so we have 60 feet of right-of-way out there. We're going to be able to cut some swales in and do some cheaper storm drainage out there.
Gotcha. I mean, because there's in Modesto, there's some places that have sidewalks, but they don't have drainage, and it floods.
Yeah, it's tough, and so we do try to do new things. One of the things that we're talking about is working what's called Parjana, EGRP. They're little plastic tubes, and they're supposed to increase percolation. We've done a couple of experimental projects, one out on Warnerville Road, and it works really wonderfully. Another one we did out in Valley Home and down Pleasant Valley, and it's mixed results. But it's one.
It depend on the soil that's there,
Yes.
because how much drainage and stuff.
Yeah.
So do you have to build a big box for that stuff, or
No,
do you
just they're plastic tubes. They just drive right into the ground vertically.
Okay.
And so we don't mind trying new things. We redid a dirt road out in Warnerville. Converted a dirt gravel road 5.5 miles, and we used what's called lithification. It's basically a fancy way to harden the soil underneath, and then we double chipped it. And so we drove that road this weekend too, and it's looking pretty good even after the rains we just got. And so,
So is that what you do on your weekends?
Sometimes.
Just drive all the county roads?
Well, I don't have time during the week. I attend quite a few meetings. That seems to be my main job some days, is attend meetings. But to get out, and drive some county roads and take a look. So that's part of the job, I suppose.
Yes,
So,
I think it is.
yeah. We're so the county is working, and because of the interest on sidewalks, we're working on a prioritization program, and it should be out in the next couple months. We're going to take public feedback on some of the criteria for it, but I know that there's different neighborhoods that have sidewalk advocates, and so that might be of interest for some of your listeners too. Is we are going to be working on a prioritization project for not only sidewalks but also the urban pockets, and try to get a batting order for them, because we can't afford to do all of them, but it would be nice to get the board to adopt a list of what neighborhoods are we going to do next. And so we're going to have some measurable, quantifiable criteria for that, so that we're not just reactionary. We're planning on which neighborhoods we're going to do next, and here's the good reasons why we're doing the neighborhoods we're going to do next. So that might be of interest too. So one of the things that happened right after Measure L is the state did pass a revised gas tax for the first time since '93, and so we do have a bit more money than we used to, and we're using that for our we do the county chip and the heavy maintenance with that money. So that's how some of your gas tax is getting used, and we're using it for local match on bridges. So,
and the gas tax also goes for in the city too.
Yeah,
the city streets also, or
the cities and counties have a formula that's well established, and the counties get a share. Caltrans gets half, and the cities and counties divide the other half by quarter. There's 58 counties and 450 something cities, so the city share is a little smaller than the counties, because we're only dividing the counties, quarter divided by 58 is a lot bigger than
too much math.